I was just like, the screen just, like it was like frozen or lagged or whatever happened. All of a sudden it just says, your character has been killed. No!
Yeah, and you're just like, welcome to the show. My name is Adam. Welcome to the Retro Adam podcast. My guest today is a very good friend of mine. I've known him since high school. He's a avid gamer. He's very good at Diablo 2, actually, and that's what we're going to be discussing tonight. Please welcome Dusty.
Hello. Hey, man.
Thanks for coming, man. It's good to see you.
How's it going?
So happy that you're here.
No worries.
It's always good to have a awesome friend on the show. We just talk and hang out. And
glad I could help.
Yeah, for sure. So how this works is I'm going to just ask you a few questions here.
Yep.
We're going to start off with some retro video game questions. And then after that, we're going to move on to Diablo 2 question, because you're a super huge fan of Diablo 2. Like, this guy had everything in that game. He has story after story after story of Diablo 2.
Too much.
Too much. So we're going to ask him some Diablo 2 questions. And then finally, a few Tibia questions, as you were a pretty big fan of that game as well.
Yeah, I spent a lot of hours on that one too.
I remember you were trying to get me to play Tibia as well, and it's like a very old school style, like top down, like pixel art, like old school MMORPG. That's right. So we'll be talking about that as well. So let's just get started here. Actually, you know what? Before we get started, why don't you just tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, like what your hobbies, your interests, and what type of work you do.
I'm 39. I've been gaming most of my life. You know, I'm a gas fitter by trade, journeyman. I don't know. I do it all. I love sports. I love to play games. I have board games.
Yeah, you love board games.
Love hanging out and just shooting the shit. You know,
you used to play like football. And
football,
you were like
13 years
playing board games. You love
baseball,
beer, lots of different types of beer.
Yeah, craft beer,
video games, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I'm playing that right now.
There's an endless list of all
these different things. It really just goes on and on. Endless list of gaming.
So well, let's start with the questions then. Now, I know you when you first started out playing video games, what was your first system? Was it the Nintendo Entertainment System? Or was it like Sega Genesis?
It was Nintendo. And obviously, Sega was right after that. And then...
Oh, so you had a Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo first.
Then you went to Sega Genesis. Did you buy the Sega Genesis, or did your parents buy that?
No, my parents. I think it was my grandma or my parents bought it for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
both of them? Or was it someone else?
My parents bought me the Nintendo, and my grandma bought me the Sega.
Oh, okay.
I think. It was a long time.
What was like the first game you had on the Nintendo? That you remember?
Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, man. It's the one that comes with the system.
You had the gun and everything?
I had the gun.
Did you shoot the dog too? Were you like,
I was trying to. Fucker never dies.
Freaking dog. And then do you remember any other significant games for the Nintendo?
For Nintendo? Yeah, I sure do. Sometimes I get confused because they're both so old and so long ago.
Between Genesis
and the sort of around the same time. There was one called Captain Skyhawk.
That was the one I was just about to bring up. Yeah. I remember you talking. Is that like an isometric? Like you're a jet and you're flying.
You're a jet and you're flying back and forth between
pyramid things.
Yes, that's exactly right. That was a fun one.
I remember I just played that one a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Dusty really liked it.
It was a good one. And of course, Little Mac's Punch Out. It's a classic.
Did you own that game, or did you borrow it?
Nope, I owned it.
Oh, you owned it?
Yeah, I had that one. All the Marios.
Mario 1, 2, and 3?
Mario 1, 2, and 3. I had all those.
How did you get most of your NES games? Were they like gifted to you? Or did you buy them
I think the first couple were gifted. And then after that, I just went out and saved my allowance.
Oh, and then you started buying them.
I started buying them.
Did you have like a paper route or something? And then
a paper route. I had a lemonade stand, and then my parents were pretty generous with allowance. I did a lot of home chores, and they paid me for them. I just saved my...
So on the weekend, if you did your chores, they'd give you like $10, $20 or whatever.
Just save it up.
You would be able to buy some games.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Were any of the neighbors' kids, did they have games as well that you would like borrow between each other?
Yeah, no.
Because I know like Sandy had some games.
He did have a bunch too, yeah.
I know Chris Hatch, I think, had a bunch as well.
Yeah.
Maybe Tyler as well.
Yeah, no, we didn't really swap the games too much.
Oh, okay.
Maybe Sandy and I might have swapped some a little bit, but not for that system.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might have swapped some N64 games, but that was later. Wow.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh.
Lots of memories there.
Okay, we can't go to N64 yet. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
So you had your NES and then you had your Genesis.
Yeah.
Now, what did you have for the Sega Genesis?
Ooh.
I think Sonic 2 was a big one.
Sonic 2. That was huge. What else? There's one called Subterranean Conflict or Subterranean something. It was this. Was
it like a strategy game?
Spaceship, and you had to maneuver through these caves, and it was really hard. It was a really hard game.
Oh, okay.
It was
so it was like a flying game.
A flying game, okay. But it wasn't like Captain Skyhawk, where you just back and forth. You literally have to turn the thing, push the button to propel it, so you're literally floating.
Oh, okay.
It was difficult.
And you don't remember the name?
Subterranean something, and
I'm gonna have to look that up. Was it a good game, or was it kind of like?
It was good. It was
just really hard.
I mean, when I was younger, I feel like the games were harder when we were younger because I went back years later and tried to play it, and I was terrible.
Oh, right.
But when I was young and was playing it often, I was able to get through most. I don't think I ever beat the game, but I got through most of it.
Yeah.
And of course, Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah, I had
Echo the Dolphin.
That was another big one.
Freaking can't beat that one either.
I beat that one.
You beat it?
Yeah.
I couldn't beat the last guy. The last one was impossible.
From what I remember that game, at the very end, there's like aliens everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you get to that part?
I didn't even get to that part. Okay. So apparently I didn't even get to the end.
So like at the very end, the screen like moves on its own and you gotta keep up with the screen. And there's like all these aliens coming at you and you gotta hit them with your Echo, I think.
That was that was insane.
And then at the very last boss is this giant like alien head and you have to like take out the eyes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's ridiculously hard.
Yeah, it was pretty insane.
I mean, it was a good, like, the graphics and stuff are really good.
Gosh, there's so many. I feel like I'm forgetting a lot of the Sega ones because I had
You had quite a few.
I had quite a few.
Did you have all the Sonics?
I did not. Yes, I did have all the Sonics.
1, 2, and 3. Oh, yeah,
and
Sonic and Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles, too.
Did you have that, like, add-on cartridge?
I did. I forgot about that, yeah.
And then if you did that, you could have Knuckles in the game.
I liked playing with Knuckles. Yeah. It was fun to play with. You got the little 2-button fly thing.
Because if you did it that way, then you could play Knuckles in like 2 and 3 as well, right?
I think so. I can't remember.
I never had that device. I've heard of that device, but
I can't remember.
On top.
I can't remember.
So yeah, Sega Genesis. That was another big one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember any like must-play retro games from back in the day do you remember like, oh, that was an awesome game? Like, I'd love to go back to that one.
Like
you'd recommend it
for
like Sega
for
NES.
Sega or NES.
Yeah. If there's any that come to mind.
Yeah, I mean, we already mentioned it. Captain Skyhawk was a classic. For whatever reason, I liked that one a lot. Just and Blades of Steel.
Blades of Steel.
Blades of Steel for the NES. That was a good hockey game.
Actually, it's funny you bring that one up because I have our old video of us. Like I recorded us playing that game, and I still have it. It's on Facebook.
No way, it's funny.
So I'm gonna put a clip of it. Like right after this, I'll put a clip on it just so like a throwback.
What up, guys? It's Adam. I'm here with my good friend Dustin. Dustin Edwards.
What's up?
All right, let's do it. 2-player. This is Dusty's game. I'm kind of sucky at this.
I'll win the face-off though.
Ah! You're only getting your last battle. Ah!
We did like 3 or 4 games actually.
Yeah, we did.
Super C.
Oh, Super C.
Blades of Steel.
Super C's for SNES, isn't it?
I think we did a couple others. We did Punch Out.
Yo, what up? I'm Adam.
I'm Dustin.
We're playing some Punch Out, so let's do it. He's gonna play first, or we're gonna take turns. So
let's keep it clean.
I'll do him.
Look at him.
Glass Joe. He's pretty easy.
How do you do the other? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah.
Do you remember how to play this game?
I got it.
Punch him in the stomach. Nah.
Oh, sorry. Right him in the face.
No, that works too.
It works.
As well. And I think we did one more.
Yeah, is Super C for SNES? Or is that
Super C was for Nintendo?
And Nintendo. Okay, NES.
Yeah.
We're playing Super C on the Nintendo.
Let's kick it off.
Let's do it.
There's a good old Konami again. I like Konami today.
Actually, the Chip and Dale one, that was Capcom. And this is Konami again, so.
Blue.
I'm blue, Dusty's red. I think that was Rapid Fire. haven't played this in a long time either. I
We're good. We're good.
I think the last time I played this was with Sandy.
That was a fun one too.
So I have those. I still have those videos.
Yeah.
So I'll put a clip of each one throughout this podcast so you can see.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I like Super C.
That was a really good game. Yeah, good co-op game.
Oh, Banjo Kazooie. That was later.
There was Banjo Kazooie as well. Oh yeah, we'll have to talk about some retro or N64. N64. Do you think? How do you feel about retro gaming compared to like modern gaming now? Like, do you think there was like some what were some like positives from retro gaming versus modern gaming? If you could name any. Like, was there something about retro gaming that you really liked that you miss that isn't really in current modern gaming now?
Yeah, there is actually. The simplicity of the games was easy to pick up and just play.
I agree. Yeah.
And even though the games back then were harder to play and defeat, like get advance, they were simpler to learn, and you could pick up any game, and within a few minutes, you'd know how to play. Mm-hmm. There's so many games that are like now that are very complicated, and some that aren't, but that's the huge difference. So and graphics, obviously.
You're saying the simplicity, the easy pick up and play, like you just pop the cartridge in, you turn it on, and it's like you're right in it.
Yeah, it's not really complicated, right?
Yeah, nowadays it's like you sit down, you load it up, you wait through like the intro screens or whatever, and then you got to load to the network and then jump into the game.
And usually it's like a lot of places, a lot of games, you'll have to create an account even, and a lot of the
There's
computer,
a lot of that.
A lot of stuff going on, right?
Yeah, create an account, and
then you got to create a character.
Create this, create that.
Yeah,
it's like holy smokes, I just want to play.
I mean,
and then there's like a cutscene and a cutscene.
Cutscenes. Yeah, there's lots of cinematographies now. And before you just blew the cartridge, plopped it in, you're ready to go.
Yeah, it was like a quicker. It was just quicker.
Yeah.
Then now it's just
until it didn't work.
Yeah,
that was annoying.
And then you got to like invest too, like yourself so much into more in modern games. There's just so much time.
There is, yes,
to like keep your the momentum going.
Huge thing. Yeah,
I feel like back then you could just pop it in, you start playing, you could play for like 10-15 minutes, and then you're just like it off. Then you're done, right? But now it's just like now you're heavily invested in these worlds. So,
that's right.
I mean, that's kind of what I see in modern gaming.
100%.
Now, do you collect any retro? Like, do you have anything still like in your collection, like packed away somewhere, like maybe like NES or Genesis, anything like that? And if you do, what's your like? If you don't, do you have anything that's like your prized possession that's kind of you still have?
I hung on to my Genesis for a long time. I don't know what happened to my NES. I think it got given away to one of my many cousins. I have a huge family, 20.
So you were kind of just like, well, I don't really need this anymore. You passed it along.
I passed it along.
And now you regret it.
I do. I do regret it, honestly.
I was just like, yeah, you regret it.
I do.
What happened to your N64? Do you remember?
My N64 was... I had that during the time where I lived with my dad out in Agassiz.
Yeah.
And when I moved away from Agassiz back home, that stayed out there. And then my stepsisters at the time took it over, and I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of got lost.
It kind of got lost in the breeze.
Did you have the Diddy Kong Racing?
Oh yeah,
with that one.
The Diddy Kong Racing.
Actually, speaking of N64, do you have any games for the N64 that really like stood out for you that were very memorable?
Very memorable. Diddy Kong Racing is huge. I spent hours on that one. When I first got it. That was one of the first games I got. I think it came with the program.
Oh, okay.
I think I did anyway.
With
when I bought the
console.
The console. I think that's the one that came with it. I think. But yeah, so I played it every single day, and I was showing my dad how to play. He's not good with technology, Yeah. How do you turn on the phone, Dusty?
Yeah, it's not for everyone. That's for sure.
But I eventually got him onto the game, and we would start playing, and then after a while, he started to get good at it.
Oh.
And At the time, I was visiting my dad because my parents were divorced. So he was visiting. I was visiting him at once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I would come over to his place, and I would play, and I would beat all the records in like a day.
Yeah.
And then he would spend 2 weeks trying to beat him back.
Oh, that's actually very like wholesome.
It was funny.
Go back and
then I'd come back and beat them all again.
Really?
Usually. But,
like
I mean,
time trials.
It went like that. Yeah, time trials. And it went like that for a while until I learned some tricks, and then he couldn't
figure out.
He couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He couldn't beat me anymore.
Did you like look up those tricks and then like use them into the, or you just figured it out?
No, you know what? I figured them out accidentally.
Oh, okay.
One time I was trying to beat the whiz pig in the
whiz pig
in the space levels, and I had to figure out that he had to bump me along. This is before I knew the little trick about releasing the button when you hit the boosters.
Yeah.
And I thought that I was trying to win the game with him bumping me along because he would run over you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you have your car in the exact right spot, he'll bump you forward and he'll bump you forward. Oh, okay. So I was trying to beat the game doing that because I didn't know the trick at the time. And I eventually beat it, and it was so hard. It was really hard to have him kick you around the whole track, because sometimes he'll just step on you, and then that's it. You'll never catch him again.
So it was very a unique situation. You were able to keep bumping forward.
Yeah, I didn't actually learn the trick until after I beat the game.
Oh, okay.
Which sucked, because once I knew it, it was easy. I'm just like, holy crap.
So you were playing it without even knowing about it.
Yeah, for a while, and then
your dad probably couldn't replicate it, right?
Well, once I told him.
Oh, he could do it too then.
Oh, all you have to do is lift your finger off when you hit the booster. So it's not a hard. It wasn't really.
It wasn't a complicated.
It wasn't a complicated trick.
Oh, okay.
But if you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. I spent a lot of. Oh, and the battle maps on that game too. That was also a lot of fun.
Oh, is that kind of like the Mario Kart battle?
Yeah, exactly the same thing, just different maps.
I played it at my other friend's place. Like it was Sandy, me, Jim, and Ken.
Yeah.
And we played Diddy Kong Racing, and that was actually the night you couldn't make it. I think.
Oh, I couldn't make that one. Yeah.
I messaged you. I was like, "We're playing Diddy Kong Racing."
I know. I wanted to come. I wanted to be there.
I knew you probably would have been.
That's
stoked.
One of the games I would really love to come, because I would have smoked all your asses.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We played a few courses on that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Good times.
So, if you could bring back one retro game franchise with a modern reboot, which one would it be and why? It can't be Diddy Kong.
Can't be Diddy Kong.
It's got to be a different one.
Retro game franchise from
Captain Sky.
From NES.
I guess it's not really a franchise.
I
asked Sandy that question. I think he said Contra, and they kind of are still coming out with new Contras. I mean, they did come out with one recently for the like PS5 and stuff, and they're pretty good. It's not bad. But is there like another one you can think of that you'd like to be brought back?
Well, the first thing that came to mind was Little Mac, but I think they have stuff already. I just haven't.
I think the last Punch Out they did was on the Wii. It was Little Mac.
It was Little Mac, yeah.
That was the last one. So you would like to see another Punch Out game?
I think so. Punch Out would be good. Honestly, Captain Skyhawk would be fun. I mean, the thing about some of the games is sometimes it's better to leave them as a fond memory in your past.
Mm-hmm.
I've played a couple where I went back and played them again, and I was like,
not the same.
I should have just left it alone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The rose tinted glasses.
Yeah, it was
perfect.
It was like there was great memories, and then you play it again as an adult, and it's just like, what did I see in this game?
Not
sometimes, I don't know. None of the games that we've mentioned in this podcast so far are in that list, but yeah.
No, I
you know what I mean.
Get what you mean.
Yeah. It's hard to say. Can't really think of another one.
Mm-hmm. I guess like Diablo is still going. So that's I guess that's not something that would be brought back. It's still going.
It's still going. Yeah.
But you can't think of like any others like that come to mind.
I don't know. Is N64 is that retro enough for you? Because
I would like for me. I consider like anything from like Atari all the way up to.
Okay, well, I would like to see another GoldenEye. That was fun.
I believe they did come out with another one on the Wii.
Did they?
That was the last one they did.
I never had.
Tried to bring it back.
I never had the Wii, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. They tried to bring it back. It was okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't the greatest.
Wasn't the greatest.
But you'd like to see something similar to go play.
Yep, that'd be cool. And I haven't really been following it, so some of the things I say they might have something I just don't know because you know.
Just weren't aware.
Just weren't aware.
Brought back.
Like Sonic would be cool. Another one. They probably do though already.
The last Sonic they came out with, I think, was Sonic Frontiers, and that's on PS5.
Is it?
And Switch, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. You might like it actually. You can check it out.
I have a PS5, so that'd be fun.
You can see if it's on there.
Check it out.
So we're just going to shift gears here. We're going to switch over to Diablo 2 questions. Dusty, he used to play. It was at your mom's place.
Yeah.
And Dusty would get like everything. He had literally like,
oh my God.
I go away for like 2 weeks. I come back and he's got like every single item in the game. Like just freaking dominated.
It's longer than 2 weeks. It took months. Well, I mean, with several characters.
I remember it's just coming back and you're like, all right, check this out. I got this, I got that, and I got this and that. And I was just like, oh my God, like how did you get all this stuff? So we're going to go down some Diablo 2 questions here. And, whatever you remember, I'd love to hear some stories on that.
I'll probably remember stuff because
you were playing for.
Spent about 6 months of my life playing that game.
You were so.
If you add up all the time played, probably like 6 months.
You're so addicted. So yeah, let's go down some questions here. What initially drew you to Diablo 2? Like at first, like how did you first get into it?
Diablo 1.
Oh, you played Diablo 1.
Diablo 1 drew me to Diablo 2 because I played that
on the PC. Because it was also on PS1, I think. As well.
I didn't have a PS1.
Okay,
yeah, so it was PC.
Okay.
Yeah. So Diablo 1 was where I started. And
did you play like with somebody?
I think I played with Dan a little bit at the beginning. And he sort of just, whatever happens, you just stop playing eventually. But I kept on. And
so he stopped, you kept going.
Yeah.
Diablo 1. Okay.
Yeah. And even in Diablo 1, I got insane. I got everything. Okay, and I figured out how to dupe, and that was it.
Oh, that's right. In the first one,
because like dupe, right? You could dupe. You could you pick up the potion at the right time. And
duping mean duplicate.
Duplicate, yeah, duping items.
And did you like max out all the classes and like get every item?
Everything.
Did you have the expansion pack as well? Because there's one expansion pack, and it made you like run faster.
I don't think I ever had the expansion pack.
Oh, okay.
I can't. What was it called? The Hellfire or something?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe I did have it. I think I might have had it, yeah.
I remember it made you like walk faster.
Right.
It might have been another class or something.
Oh, the catacombs. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the Griswold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
he was in the first one too.
He was alive in the first one.
Yeah,
and the second one, it was his leg.
Yeah.
So that's how you first started.
And then, that's how I started. So.
And then you got into Diablo 2. We were all playing Diablo 2. Like Jim got me into Diablo 2. And then I was like all of us were playing.
Yeah.
It was like a phenomenon.
It was fun, yeah.
So in Diablo 2, which character class did you prefer to play? And like, what was your favorite build for that class?
My favorite class to play. So that's a really difficult question because
there's like 7 classes, right?
There's 7 classes, and I pretty much got the best of the best for every class, and I figure almost the best build in every class.
That's tough, right?
It was tough. It took a long time.
What was your like favorite class to play?
I think it was Paladin.
Paladin.
Yeah, Paladin or Necro was really fun, and I have to say Paladin.
In the end,
Paladin. That's probably the number one. And then obviously the Sorceress was fun.
Sorceress was fun too, yeah. I would say Paladin too.
Yeah.
I really liked the shield bashing.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, it's something about it. Just like
I love the hammers. I was a master with the hammers.
Hammers was really good.
Yep.
I also liked what was it, Smite, where it had the elemental damage.
Yep. Thorns.
Thorns, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Zeal's
clutch.
You just like
clutch.
Because remember, like when you first with Zeal, it would hit like up to 20 times or something like that.
Yeah.
So you could go and hit somebody and be like,
yeah,
and you get faster and faster. But then they changed it to only 5 hits, right?
Yeah,
because otherwise it was too expensive.
That's when you changed to the hammers. I had a setup where I was doing over 15k damage with each hammer.
Yeah.
So it was just ridiculous. Hammered in, yeah. It was just ridiculous.
That was a really good class.
So
you'd say Paladin.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there was nerfs throughout the game and whatever, but in the end, I think Paladin was my favorite one to play.
That's funny. Yeah, both of us. I think. Yeah, Paladin for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Necromancer was really fun.
Necromancer.
I like summoning all the different.
Yeah, that was fun. Paladin was one of the only ones that I was able to solo. The super Tristram or whatever it was, where all three primevals were all together.
Yeah,
I was able to do it by myself with the Paladin or with the Necromancer.
And what was the reward again for that? You get like a.
You had this,
right? This, and it give you +1 all skills.
This charm plus, it was insane. It was like Anubis or something, +2 to all skills, or something like that. I can't remember.
Pretty awesome.
It was super awesome. Yeah.
Can you share some of your most memorable experiences or moments in Diablo 2? So do you have something that happened in Diablo 2 where you were just like, oh my God, this was amazing?
Yeah. I remember, I don't know, I was probably a couple years in, and I was at that point at that point in the game, you're just grinding. You're just grinding for levels. You're trying new characters, and
did you get like all your characters to 99 and they all had the best gear? And
eventually, but not at that point. The story I'm going to tell you here. I remember I was doing a Bale run, and this was once the expansion came out. I was with my Hammered In, and I was going through, and I just did the run, and at the end, it was smoked Bale to the dirt, and out popped Stoner Jordan. And
your first
the very first SOJ.
Nice.
And so it was the only one in all the time I played that I actually found myself.
Your own story.
My own story of Jordan. I mean, many people can say that.
I don't think I ever got my own ever. Yeah.
Did you ever find one like your own? You had some, but did you ever find one?
I think you gave me some.
Yeah, because
I never found my own.
Eventually they became the currency. Right? Yeah. So I would trade runes and armors and
runes.
Yeah, the runes create the Enigma, which is like the armor for the Hammered In.
So Stoner Jordan, that gives +1 all skills, and you have 2 of them equipped. So it's like +2 to all skills.
Yep.
So finding that first Stoner Jordan.
That was pretty cool. Another pretty memorable time, except it wasn't a boon. It was a terrible thing that happened.
Something bad.
I had a hardcore character, level 94 or something, and it was a sorceress, and I was bamfing around the screen and killing stuff and just doing what I do, and then the game, someone joined the game, went hostile on me, and then like within a few seconds, I was just like, the screen just, like it was like frozen or lagged or whatever happened. All of a sudden it just says, your character has been killed. No!
Yeah, and you're just like, like hours of play time.
I was so mad.
Just screaming at your computer, and your mom's probably like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was I was pretty upset. I think I stopped playing Diablo for like a week then. Actually,
now that you mentioned those hardcore characters, there's a couple times too.
It was traumatic.
Traumatic.
I heard in the news that somebody got killed in Japan or something.
They ended up jumping,
or they killed themselves, or
killed themselves over something like that.
Yeah, like wild.
That's how intense it was.
Intense, man. Yeah, but it was traumatic. It was pretty traumatic and maddening.
It was a couple of times I died hardcore. I was sorceress. I was doing the cows levels. It was like, I was like zipping around.
The cow king got you, or someone else got you?
My dad walked in the room. He doesn't know what's going on. He's just checking on me to see I'm not like crazy or something. Right? So my dad walks in. He's like, "Hey, Adam, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, and I'm just like, and he's like, "So, looks pretty good out there, the weather." And he's just chatting small talk, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be like focusing here, like I'm trying to kill these cows. And I look away for a second, and
you just got surrounded.
Yeah. So I'm like trying to small talk with my dad and play at the same time. I look away, I go back, and it's like, "You are dead." And I was like, "No," but I didn't want to go like, "No," in front of my dad, right? Like I didn't want to seem like I was crazy or something. So dad's just like, "Oh yeah," blah, 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 and then small talking, and I'm sitting there like,
Did you throw your mouse?
No. I mean, I was mad, but I wasn't gonna like have a fit in front of my dad.
That's funny.
So I'm just sitting there like, and the dad's like, "Okay, see you later," and he walks out. I'm just sitting there like, it was like it wasn't that bad. It was like an 85 or 86 sorceress. But
Yeah.
still, like that's a lot of time.
It is a lot of time.
And then a similar situation as well as like you're just kind of playing along as a paladin or something, maybe like 60 or 70. I'm just like, and then somebody joins the game. All of a sudden they're like hostile.
Oh yeah.
Just pops up in the warp, the little warps, and he just like just charges me.
Yeah,
dead.
all those guys, they have enigmas, and that's how they can, unless they're a sorcerer, then they just have teleport ready to go.
And I remember dying to that, and then I was just sitting there staring at the computer screen, just like, and then I was like,
yeah,
no, like I just like, I just lost it.
So maddening. Oh,
It's traumatic. It's very traumatic.
It is.
And
I mean,
I stopped for 2 weeks or something.
Yeah. I used to be able to like get to 60 to 70 within a day because I knew how to do all the
like
runs,
the mail runs,
like the runs, all the right runs.
And people were like helping you out. And stuff.
With people all working together and helping you out. They'll be able to get to about 60 or 70 in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it starts taking longer and longer and longer and longer.
Especially like hardcore too, because you're like scared.
Hardcore is a little bit longer because you're going to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, a little more careful. Probably a couple or 3 days to get to 70, and then
it is. Yeah,
it's scary.
It's very scary. Your heart's like,
especially in that cow level, because there's so much going on. It makes it more laggy in there.
Yeah.
And then if there's other people in the game too, that's even more laggy.
And sometimes they turn on you and they go through the portal and they're
right there.
Oh yeah, remember when people turn hostile and then everyone would just leave the game?
Yeah,
like everyone's gone.
Yeah.
And so, how do you feel about the game's atmosphere and storytelling about Diablo 2?
Yeah, I like the story. I like the storyline.
Deckard Cain, he was awesome.
Yeah, Deckard. He was a staple in the whole series. Really, I
actually haven't played Diablo 4. So is he in that one? The fourth one?
He dies.
He dies in the third one.
Third one.
Spoilers.
So no, sorry guys.
I mean, the game's like
old. It's not spoilers anymore, man. It's been out forever. So no, he dies in the third one. But no, he's not in the fourth one.
He's so iconic in the second
one.
He
is iconic. His voice is iconic.
There's so many. He sounds like Sean Connery or something.
Yeah.
And there's so many lines in that game that are just like ingrained in your brain. Because if you play the game so much, you just remember every word he says.
Exactly.
And he's just kind of like, you have quite a treasure there in that Roderick cube. Like that's one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Do you remember any other? Like,
oh God, there's so many.
There's so many. Yeah.
Use the cube's transmute power.
Yeah, that was another one. Or like, I am a Kara. Like,
that was
and you wouldn't listen to the whole thing. You would just hear the beginning part of it
because you'd fast forward it.
Yeah, fast forward it. So you'd always hear those first,
Yeah. Oh, and then there's the staff and the headpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much.
Those were iconic moments.
Iconic, yeah. And Griswold.
And Griswold, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you participated in like the PvP in Diablo 2? Like, did you ever remember you get the ears if you killed somebody? You get.
Oh
the ears.
yeah, I did.
Did you try and collect a bunch?
Forgot
of ears?
about that.
So you kind of like hang out in Act 1 and then near the entrance, and then you kind of go back and forth trying to like fight somebody because you didn't want to, especially if it was hardcore. That was like super.
I never got into the PvP hardcore. I was always too scared to lose one of those fights.
Yeah.
So. But no, I didn't do that. I dabbled in it a little bit with softcore characters, and that was.
Were you pretty good at it?
Not bad. I held my own. I usually came out on top.
Did you collect the ears and keep them?
I did for a little bit, but it was ultimately there'd
just be like ears
everywhere. Yeah, yeah. There's just flooded with ears.
Flooded with ears.
Yeah,
I remember there was a time it was I don't think it was hardcore, but I was level like 24 paladin or something, and there'd be a guy who was like level 12 paladin or something.
Wow.
And he'd be fighting in Act 1 just at the entrance, and I'm like, oh, I could take this guy. I'm level 24 or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure enough, walk out. He's like, charge, dead, insta kill.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And then he'd like show me the gear he had.
Yeah.
It's so deceiving, right?
Yeah.
Because he'd have like the best gear you could have at level 12.
I actually did that. And I think you can do that at level 10, actually.
Oh, okay.
There's a particular set that you get and the right unique items.
You can like basically
you basically max your your character at that level.
And it's very deceiving.
Yeah, because he just looks like a puny little peon.
Yeah.
And then you come in with your level 30 or 40 character and you just get wasted.
It charges once and it's
Yeah.
like, boom.
Game over.
Insta death.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
happened to, I think that happened a few times to me.
Yeah.
Any specific items or loot drops in Diablo 2 that you're particularly fond of or hold sentimental value for you?
Yeah.
Any certain items that were like,
Well,
those were the items for you?
sure. The Stone of Jordan, like I said, I just mentioned that one. That was pretty, it was an iconic find, you know. Some of the runes, the Zod, and some of the really rare runes that you need to make the Enigma, which is the armor that lets you teleport around. That was usually the armor that everyone sought to. I mean, that maneuverability is just, you know, unparalleled.
Oh, it's the one that makes you teleport around? What was the name of that one again?
Enigma.
Enigma. So any character could teleport with it, right?
Yeah. Any character
How many
could
charges did it have?
It unlimited charges.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it gave you +1 to all skills, and it was like something ridiculous to magic find, and there's a whole, you know, big list of stuff it did.
And that was a rune one.
3 runes. I can't remember what they are. Zod was one of them.
Zod's one of the last runes.
Last ones, yeah. No, that was definitely one. For the Paladin, most of my stuff was rune stuff. There was a couple.
I think some of the best gear.
Some of the best gear was all rune made.
I think it was easier to find rune based gear versus.
I don't know. It took a long time to find. Like, I had the.
Because you could upgrade the runes too, right? You get.
Exactly. It took a really long time to get all the runes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely I can't remember the name of the shield was, but there was a very special shield that you could use for the Hammerden, and it was just
the damage.
It was just a no-brainer. This is the one that you want if you're gonna use a Hammerden, you know.
Yeah.
And I had the same thing for the helmet. It was a Visage, and Dariel's Visage. I can't remember. And it was a long time ago.
So those were like your go-tos.
Yeah, every item I had was very specific. Couldn't be surpassed by a different item.
Yeah.
It was.
You had like basically the best of the best.
The best of the best.
Because I know like certain items you can get better rolls for as well for certain items.
I think that was Diablo 3.
Oh, was that Diablo 3? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's not true.
Sometimes you could get
there's
better.
There's better versions. Yeah.
Did you have like the top of the top? Or you did.
Yeah,
wow.
I did.
Wow, holy smokes. Now I know Diablo 2 was remastered and it came back as Resurrected. Did you play that one? It's on PS5 as well.
I don't think so. No.
Basically, it's the same game, just better graphics.
Oh yeah, I know.
I have it on the Switch. It runs pretty good, but I'm sure it runs better on the PS5. You might
should try it.
Check it. I think it's on special right now. Too.
I can't.
You can get it. I can't get it.
Can't do it, man.
Can't do it. They'll suck you back in.
I can't do it. Suck me back in. It's gonna stay in my memories.
You probably would get sucked back. I wouldn't be surprised. No,
I don't think so. I've been playing Diablo 4. And on the PS5, and I'm not getting sucked in.
Not into the 4.
Not into the 4. I don't know if I would with the 3 too. We were just older now. There's more. We're just doing life.
I played 2, the Resurrected, on the Switch. I got totally sucked back.
Did you?
I was just like,
for how long though?
For like 6 months or something.
Really?
It's like just
wow.
It does come back. Like everything comes back, and
wow.
You just want to keep getting those best items and stuff.
Yeah.
And then last question here about Diablo. Basically it's saying, how do you feel about Diablo 4 compared to Diablo 2? Like, do you think it's better? Do you think more fun?
It's hard to say.
It's different.
It's definitely different, but Diablo 4 is a lot of fun. It's more complicated, just like I was saying earlier, how the games these days
there's more.
There's just more stuff to do, more different things to do, more ways to increase your character level. And
are you getting that same feeling though from Diablo 4 that you got from Diablo 2?
No, not the same. And
why do you think that is?
I think part of it, honestly, is our age and maturity. We just are getting caught up in life, and things that were super important as a teenager change as you get older. I think that's part of it. And I do think that the gameplay is just and I touched on this earlier about the simplicity.
The Diablo 2 was
the classic.
simple.
Yeah, it was just, what can I do for you? And then you go in there and you just button mashing and
That's what Diablo 2 did really well. Very simple.
It was pretty simple and straightforward, it was easy to do and it was fun, but it was still challenging. It was the right amount of mindless button mash and storyline and
simplicity.
Yeah, and then I think they put too much stuff into the games, the
overcomplicate things.
The newer games these days.
And I'm sure there's like a market for those people who want to like
analyze
every little detail. And I get it. Some people want.
Yeah, of course.
So let's switch over to. I just want to talk about Tibia a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Just a few questions here. Now I know you're a big Tibia fan. You were trying to get me to play it too. Like I did try and play it. It is fun from what I remember. It's like it's kind of like a pixel RPG, massive multiplayer online game. You from a top-down perspective, very simplistic.
Yeah,
you kind of just walk around like square to square, right? It's very like just very simple.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of layers to it. Even when you go into dungeon stuff, like little rats would come up, and you're just like, like how you would attack them.
Yeah,
they just explode into like. A chicken leg or something like that.
Yeah, chicken leg, exactly.
And then you'd loot the body and then you move on to the next thing. And with that game, when you died, you'd actually go down a level, right?
Well, if you would lose experience. And if that lost experience would make you go down a level, then you would go down a level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you'd start out on an island, right? Like the intro island.
Yep.
And there's
beginner island.
There's a bunch of people on the island. They're all talking. They're all communicating. Nobody can kill each other on the island, right?
Nope.
So you're all just kind of...
Well, there's still ways.
Really?
We can get into that later.
Get into that. So, you start on this island. You slowly work your way up. And then once you complete the island, then you go on to the main adventure.
Yeah, you choose a class after you get to level 8. And then you can move on to the mainland. And then you start gaining skills in your class.
Mm-hmm. So you can kind of like work your way towards a certain class.
Yeah.
And now I think you can still play this game. It's still online, but you haven't played it in ages, right?
No,
I just remember like I was talking with Dusty a ways back, and he'd tell me these stories about the game, and I just think, oh my god, like there's just so much wackiness to it that you can do. So I have a list of questions here. Whatever you can remember,
you betcha.
We'll dive into it.
Fire them away.
So what brought you? Why did you like Tibia so much initially? Like when you first started playing, like what was it? What was about it?
I can't remember how it was even introduced to me, honestly.
Did you just kind of like stumble upon it yourself, maybe?
I can't even say. It's like I said, it was
just one day you were
so long ago. I don't know if it was a friend who showed it to me or how it came about. But once I played it, I was kind of hooked. It was fun.
Yeah, you played that one.
It took a while to figure it out.
Was anyone else playing with you at the time too, or is it just
no one was? It was just me. I think I must have just stumbled onto it somehow.
You were pretty focused on it. Like I remember you were really enjoying that one.
Yeah, it was really good. I tried to get you to play it.
I did try and play. It's very like it's hard.
It's hard. It was definitely a hard game to play.
I can see why you liked it so much though. I like the simplicity of it as well.
Yeah, it was good, and it had this. It was simplistic but complex at the same time because of the other players and it was really different. It was good.
And when you left the intro island, like people could kill you, right? Like anybody could kill you.
Yep.
But they couldn't kill you in town.
There was safe zones.
Yeah.
But as soon as you left, it was game on.
You could just start walking.
And there was no like in Diablo, there was no hostile button where you knew it was just like this guy could be standing there and all of a sudden you could just be like, poof, throw a thing or hit you with a sword and you know,
take your stuff too, right?
Yeah, and they can loot your whole body. It's like hardcore 24/7. There's no you don't get to keep anything. Not like in
anybody could just walk up to you and just dead.
Yep.
Was there a class that you preferred playing in Tibia?
Oh, I think I don't remember what the name of the class is called, but it was the ranged class.
Was it like they'd throw like javelins?
Javelins, yeah. Okay. That was my preferred.
So from a distance, you could just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that a good way of like killing other players too?
Yeah, it was a good way of killing other players. It was a good way to kill bigger monsters that you weren't ready for, so you could level up a little bit faster.
Yeah.
It was an easy way to to upgrade your skills. I downloaded a way to make it so it would just train on like
like an auto click,
clicking thing. So
you could just come back.
I could just leave it on. I mean, it was technically I could have been banned for it if they found out, but
sort of an auto,
like it was a macro thing, like it would automatically do this, it would automatically do that, and then every 10 seconds it would be like. So it would just
come back like a day.
It would be just shooting it. Well, usually I'd have to come back. I would just leave it over.
Nobody killed.
I would just leave it overnight usually.
Yeah.
To find a really secure spot. And
did it work?
Yeah, it did work. It did work. It worked well. Eventually, you get found, and then
somebody will be like, "Oh yeah, so what's this guy doing? Dead."
So the program you had though, you could set it up so you could retaliate. So if someone hits you, then it could be like, oh, they target that person.
Oh, cool.
So sometimes I would come back and there'd be bodies around because
you took care of them.
I took care of them, yeah, and then I'd get to loot them.
That's pretty funny.
So that was kind of fun.
That's a great idea, actually. Just the fact that you could just target somebody who comes after you.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you come back, there's bodies.
There's just bodies. Yeah, it was fun looting bodies.
Did you have any memorable experiences in the game when you were having your adventures?
Yeah, there was some very intense battles up in got to level 114 or something. And every time you level up in that game, your character gets a little bit faster and faster and faster and faster. And around level 100, you are motoring around the map.
That's right. You can move quicker.
You move a lot faster, right? And there was huge battles between factions that they're not in-game factions. They're just groups of friends that have made their own groups, and there were big wars to try and and being involved in one of those was really neat because
was it just two waves coming at each other like slowly, like
picture end game where all of the heroes are running towards all of the Chitauri. That was like what it's like in that Tibia game.
That must have been pretty epic.
It was. I mean, obviously not that many because that's insane. But it was definitely like intense, and there'd be fireballs and stuff flying around, and people are luring monsters in, and everyone's so high a level that you got to go real fast.
So like, I'm picturing just these pixel characters slowly like inching towards each other and just like. Is that what it was kind of?
Yeah, well, it's not slowly. They were zooming.
Oh, they were like.
Yeah, it was. Oh wow, it was wild. It was wild because when you first get into the mainland, you're moving like you would move if you were playing Diablo 1. You're just walking. You're slow, and it takes a long time to do anything. That's why I think the game never really took off because it was such a grind to get to a place where it's more fun and.
If you just put in the time.
To put in the time. And putting in the time is boring often because there'd be a lot of... Playing that game was pretty frustrating because there's so many setbacks. Whether it be other characters just wasting you and
you're playing and some guy just comes on, you're dead. You lose like a level or two.
Yeah, if some big guy comes along, if he wants to, he could just destroy you in like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Usually that didn't happen, but it can, and when it does, it sucks because you lose like a week's worth of time because it takes that long to get that back, and you don't only lose your levels, you lose your skills too. And it hurts because it takes a long time to get those skills.
Yeah.
You have to level up every single thing separately, right?
Yeah.
If you want your skills to go up in distance, you have to sit there and work at it.
Yeah.
And then it'll eventually get higher. But that's another cool aspect of the game. You can be level 8 and have a skill of like insane. So remember we were talking about in Diablo 2 where that level 10 guy could come along and just be like, boom. Well, you could do that in Tibia technically too.
So you could trick other people walking along like, oh, it's just a level 10 and then it's, dead javelin.
Exactly. I mean, it would take an insanely long time to be able to do that because you would have to have a skill so high to, and it didn't happen very often because it was just the time to do that would have been just insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
maybe that auto clicker comes into play.
Yeah. I didn't get that till a lot later though. Anyways,
so we kind of touched on the favorite aspects of Tibia's gameplay and mechanics, how you can level up certain skills. And then it says here, have you participated in any game events or community activities with Tibia? So you mentioned that like all out brawl.
Yeah, the big battle. Those are fun.
That sounds pretty epic as well. Now, okay, here we go. What's your opinion on the Tibia community? So what was the community like in Tibia? Did you find...
It was generally pretty good. It was lots of Polish people, I think.
A lot of Polish people.
I don't know. They laugh. They go ja 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 ja.
Oh, is that Swedish?
Is that Swedish? I'm not sure.
It might be Sweden. Yeah.
Whatever they would.
Ja, 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 ja.
It would be like J-A-J-A-J-A-J.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, I don't know what nationality that is, but I think it's Swedish or Polish or something like that.
I think Swedish. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the community was quite nice. Like for the most part, they'd help you out.
It was very, very Eastern. Most of the players were very, very Eastern. And it was fun though. Yeah, there's a lot of there was a trade screen that you could trade items with, or you could just drop them if you trusted the person.
Yeah. For the most part that most people would help you.
Yeah, I'd say so. Most people would help you, but it turns bad fast if you if you don't want to do something and they want it, they can just kill you if they really want to.
Yeah.
But usually it's pretty good, and it's not most of the time. No one can just come along and one hit you like in Diablo 2. It takes because you have defense too, and they have to hit you several times before they kill you, and so you could run away. And most of the time you can get to safety, but sometimes players will work together and they'll be coordinated.
Yeah,
and they'll put blocks out and block you. And
so they set traps.
They can set traps for you. It's pretty wild.
Oh, didn't you tell me a story where there's not a young player, but a low level player would try and attack you, and then they get you to follow them, and then next a bigger player would come and kill you, right?
Yeah.
So they'd set traps like that.
Yeah, the traps like that, and often there would be places where in a dungeon where you would be just walking around and killing your little rotworms or whatever, and then there'd be there'd be someone watching you, and as soon as you go past a certain area, there'd be a bottleneck or something, and they would put up a bunch of items on the ground that you can't pass, and then they would come around the other way, and then you'd be trapped, and then you'd try to be moving the stuff away,
they'd flank
and you'd be dead before you had enough time to get through.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
So they trap you that way too.
And then there's another way where they run around and lure a bunch of monsters to follow you, and then they'll head towards the ladder, and then they'll go up, and then they all just come towards you, and then there'll be someone else waiting in the back to if you run away.
There's some pretty devious stuff
that
happens.
Well, that's part of the reason. Like I was thinking about the complexity of it. There's so many.
You can come up with
your own stuff,
traps,
own little traps, and you can make them anywhere you want. And that's part of the depth of the game that I really liked.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it was really interesting and fun.
Because I just remember you always telling me these crazy stories about that game.
Yeah.
So just a couple more questions here, and then I think we'll wrap it up there.
Gotcha.
So was there any particular dungeons in Tibia that you found that you really liked? Challenging dungeons?
No, not really. I mean, there was a lot of great places I would frequent, but so long ago I can't remember now.
So just essentially places you'd go to level up your character.
I remember there was a Cyclops area on the mainland that was pretty good. I remember because the Cyclopses walk slow, and I had a distance, so I could kite them essentially.
And that was a good leveling.
It was a good leveling up spot, but it was popular, so I had to. People would fight over the monsters.
They'd be like, "I want to take that spot."
Yeah. They'd be like, "Mine," and then if you kill it, yeah, they start attacking you.
Yeah,
and so there was always a constant battle between monsters and other people because everyone wants the loot and the experience, and
I can see that.
And then there was sometimes people would use, once you get high enough level, you can use the Cyclopses to level up, to train your skills, because you could put a weapon on you that only does like 1 damage at a time.
Oh, okay.
And they do almost nothing, and they don't do anything to you once you get high enough.
Yeah.
And then so you could just sit there forever and chop it and kill it and kill it. And by the time it finally dies, a new one has respawned.
Cool.
So it just goes on forever.
So that was a good spot for leveling.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of good spots, but like I said, I can't remember now. It's so long. I would like to actually try that one again. You say it's still...
You'd go back to Tibia? Oh yeah, I think it's still going.
I
think they upgraded the graphics.
I don't have a computer anymore,
okay.
So I can't go back to it yet. But if I had one, I think I would revisit that. It was fun.
Yeah, you could. I think they upgraded the graphics a bit too. So
Really?
I mean, the essential gameplay is probably the same, but
Yeah.
I think they've kind of.
You know what? I think I knew that. I think I came back to it after it.
Checked it out.
I checked it out. Got it.
into the fire.
I got it. Got it.
Little fly's gone now.
It was gone.
So yeah, last question about Tibia.
Mm-hmm.
If you did go back, what would be your hopes and expectations for the future as Tibia? Like, what would you want that they could do better in Tibia? If anything comes to mind, is there something that
that I would change?
some quality of life improvements for Tibia that you would like?
I mean, they've probably already changed this because I haven't.
Because it's been a few.
It's been decades.
Mm-hmm. They may have already.
They may have already
some
fixed
stuff
it,
that you're
but
thinking of.
Yeah, but back when I was playing, there was no easy way to trade, and stealing was such a huge issue. People could be like, you'd have to set up blocks and then put your item there, and it was easy to trick people. And I did that too because people were stupid.
Actually, speaking of that, Diablo 2, a lot of people would do that. They'd put a Stone of Jordan or something.
Oh yeah, and then
they'd be like ding ding ding,
just swap it out,
and then they'd be like, oh sorry, they'd be like, I accidentally canceled the trade.
Yeah,
and then they'd go back into it and go bing.
Yeah,
it's a totally different item.
Exactly. Yeah, I did that to some people. I actually tricked people. Did it actually
work?
Yep, it works, but not as often as the other trick I did.
So similar in Tibia, the same thing. They'd put it down. It wasn't the real, it wasn't the real item.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it's there's no trade screens in that game. Not any. I think there is now, but back when I was playing, there wasn't, and it made.
So you'd have to put it away.
Yeah,
and then they have to walk up and grab it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think there's a trade depot now where you could have the items, but you still had to you had to do it on trust. There is no way to guarantee that they're gonna give you the money when you throw your item over there.
So you'd give it to them and then okay, now give me the money.
Yeah.
All right, see you later.
Yeah,
just take off.
Yeah. So, but that's part of the reason why you could just kill them, because because that's why. Yeah. So it was like I said, it was complex but simple.
I'm thinking they probably fixed that.
I think though,
because that was years ago.
That was. Yeah.
All right. Well, that concludes the podcast for now.
You betcha.
Thanks for coming out, Dusty.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm glad you were here and sharing those stories.
Good times. Yep.
And we'll have you back again for round 2.
Right on, man.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, buddy.